are back with Journey today. This will be our third video. If you want to see our journey, the previous videos will be linked below. Separate ways, worlds apart. Just narrowly winning the last monthly members poll. You can vote for them for free over on Patreon. It goes to show every vote on these polls really does count. This song released in 1983. Apparently it's one of Journey's biggest hits. It has loads of views on YouTube, but the music video is supposedly one of the worst ever put out during the MTV era. I love a lot of the 80s style, so I think this will be quite fun to see if it really is that bad. Anyway, the song itself, it's about romantic separation, two lovers inhabiting different worlds that are kind of pulling apart from each other. So let's see how Journey set those lyrics to the music and the video. Okay, not going to lie, the bit that we just heard, which I guess is the pre-chorus, I really thought or would have thought that would be the chorus. It just had really interesting harmony, really interesting choice of chords. But this here is the chorus, I think. And before you complain that I've paused here in the chorus, look, I don't want to pause either. Copyright is just a huge issue. It's just better to be safe than sorry. So we'll talk a little bit about what we've heard so far. We have listened to over a minute already, and then I'll carry on from just before the chorus. We'll go straight into the chorus. Let's go back to the start, that opening synth riff. You might have noticed I went down here and clicked the settings. That's because I thought maybe I was listening to this at 1.25 speed. When I watch some types of YouTube videos, like talking videos, I often listen at quicker speeds. But no, that's not the case. The synth intro is just really that rhythmic, quite quick. Always returning to here, E. E minor is the home key of the song. So, always returning there. It's clear what the key is by returning to the same note over and over. Uncha, uncha, uncha. There's a certain rigidity to the rhythms, you know, cha, 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 cha. I imagine this is probably quite a famous opening riff. I mean, the video is spectacular, isn't it? What a transition. It's like the instruments just appeared out of nowhere. No, I do like it. I do like it. But yeah, maybe quite an iconic riff, something you hear and you go, ooh, that's Journey. Separate worlds. Separate worlds, separate ways. At least that will be me from now on whenever I hear this song, if I ever hear it being played somewhere. Quite heavy in the conviction. The bass, the electric guitar really adding in a lot of grit to the sound with the certain rhythmic, interesting things that they're doing. Like little things like that. The beat as well. In the music, otherwise, there's not too much happening. We do have this constantly repeated E in the bass line, never moving, and then the chords above are just going, just falling down like that. And you can hear how that repeated E is causing dissonance and then resolving because it doesn't move and the other parts do move. What does that mean for the music? Well, it's a bit of tension, really. Constantly shifting between nice sounding chords and then slightly more tense sounding chords. Steve Perry comes in. His melody is not crazy yet. It's not too high or anything. So that's what we've been hearing. And then the pre-chorus that I kind of thought was the chorus. I really like it. So let's quickly have a listen and then we'll carry on with the song. There's just a harmonic shift there. I wasn't really expecting it. His melody and the chords underneath are doing this kind of thing, which is just kind of different to the chords we were hearing before. They are both falling, but the lyrics that we get there, feeling that it's gone can change your mind. You know, he's talking about change. We get this change in the feel in the music, a drastic change in harmony, which results in Steve Perry just absolutely caning it up there. That is super, super high. The top note I just played, that's what I call the wow operatic tenor moment, which is insane considering how much huskiness Steve Perry is singing with. I mean, let's listen to the phrase before that. Listen to the air extending through to the end of the phrases. You could hear that and go, oh, that's the sound of a smoker, someone with a husky voice, not someone who's about to then just suddenly go whoo, straight up there. All right, let's carry on with the chorus. I'm liking the video. Let's see if it gets any worse or better. What a shot. That kind of looks like Tom Cruise a little bit, doesn't it? What a video. You know what? I really like it. I just like it. I am sure I have seen some way worse videos, music videos from the 80s. So I think it's quite hard done by being known as potentially the worst MTV music video ever. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I have had recommendations for this song before and almost all of them do kind of apologize in advance for the video. I don't think there's an apology needed. I am loving it. I did not know what to expect, to be fair, considering the song's subject matter. And when you combine it with the music, it's just a combination I would not have predicted. Just the little things like that. Let's just add in a little synth broken chord. Why? Because musically, there's not been much new happening. It's the same chord patterns that we're hearing over and over. It's the same repeated E in the bass, and then also kind of played on the electric guitar, giving it that metallic, twangy sound. Let's have a listen just there again. Troubled time. So if you don't have that much going, no, I phrased that incorrectly. If you don't have new ideas constantly being introduced in the music, I don't know, I feel like there is kind of more of the overall weighting of the music that then falls on the singer. When you have Steve Perry singing, Steve Perry, who I've been told is known as the voice. Yeah, that's no issue at all. What a voice he has. It's so, so cool. And he does these little things as well. I don't know how I'd describe it. Almost like a glottal stop. See there? As the vowel sound changes, ow, like that kind of thing. I'm not that familiar with him. Like I say, this is my third Journey video, but I feel like I'm already starting to understand his voice, and that just seems like a Steve Perry-ism. And he's very delicate with when he chooses to use vibrato and straight tone singing. I've mentioned that in the previous 2 Journey videos I've done. The music video makes it obvious as well. There was a case of vibrato, and we can really see his mouth working to help it. Whereas just before, straight tone, slightly husky singing. If you must go. One thing I really like about this song actually is the amount of harmony, the vocal harmony that we're hearing. It seems to be in most of the lines really, outside of the verses. Someday love will find you. Very obviously there in the chorus. I absolutely love the video. I was thinking, and as I was watching this, I want to join them. I want to join them there. It looks like a great time. But yeah, all the different vocal lines we can hear in there. The one at the top that doesn't move. You know, up there, not moving. Like we saw the repeated note in the bass, now it's been inverted and shifted to the top vocal harmony, and then the harmonies in the middle around Steve Perry's melody are moving, and it just creates a really thick, rich sound. Of course, the rhythms of the chorus, cha, 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 cha. There's a lot of energy, basically, is probably what I'm trying to say here. Break those chains that bind you. These guys certainly are not lacking in the energy department. What else is interesting about the chorus? Well, like I always say, harmony, I think, is the most important thing in music. A lot of people overlook it or don't really understand its importance. You change the harmony of a song, the whole feel changes, and it can seem quite subtle. In the chorus, someday love will find you. Break those chains that bind you. Like I showed you before, we're hearing those chords that we were introduced to at the beginning of the song. And we're alternating between minor, sadder sounding, and then major. Major chords, happier sounding, but with that E in the bass, causing extra dissonance, extra tension, and then we get a major chord again. But this time there's not any dissonance because that bottom note is this one. And it does fit in. And then we move to here, which is the same chord they move to in the pre-chorus when they go. So that chord seems to be a kind of focal point of this song. Anyway, they move to here, and then to here, and then chromatically up. But the other chord notes don't move, so it's this diminished chord. Diminished chords just sound a bit. And then back, etc. Let me know if the little keyboard I use for these videos I should stick on the wall like this, because that looks quite fun. Love will find you. Break those chains that bind you. One night will remind you how we touched away in our separate ways. If he ever hurts you, true love won't desert you. You know I'll still love you. That's cool, isn't it? How they've brought back that opening synth motif, I guess we'd call it, that the song started with here. A huge instrumental section. We haven't heard good old Steve, the voice, for a while now. But notice how the theme is treated differently. Compared to the beginning. This time we have these crazy drums, whose rhythms are a bit peculiar, right? They're removing any sort of rhythmic consistency that we might be getting familiar with, of chat, 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 chat. No, they're doing other things. A nice falling counter melody above, synth, I think. In line with the falling idea that we're hearing in the song quite a lot. We had the falling chords. And then later on, the falling melody with different falling chords. And then Steve falling just before we move into the pre-chorus. So there is these motifs of just falling in scalic passages quite often. Anyway, where we got to, so we get this one very cool. I actually think this is my favorite shot of the song, or the video rather. Steve. Still love you, we went our separate ways. What an anguished way of singing it. He moves a little bit higher than usual. And that takes us into the guitar solo. Instrumental section, it's the guitar solo's time to shine. And let's listen to how it starts. It's essentially the opposite of the counter melody I just pointed out. It's now rising, which is quite different to anything we've heard before. But my main point is it's really lyrical, almost vocal-like phrasing. I could imagine Steve Perry vocalizing it to no words, maybe to ooh or something. And it gradually builds up. The rhythms become quicker. The range expands, it becomes more intense. It's like it has its own story arc, very smooth, and then it builds up, and then finally it finishes and we carry on with the song. And beneath it, we can always hear this falling chord pattern, and then the earlier falling chord pattern. Underneath, just slower. So that's really cool. We have two falling patterns, but one is just much quicker. So like that, and I'll speed it up so we're not here all day. You've probably clocked on to the fact that I'm pointing out repeated patterns, repeated motifs, repeated ideas, and that's why, I don't know, it's why I think maybe this song is so popular, because you immediately become familiar with it, a really iconic synth opening. That then comes later on, catchy chorus, simple melody, a lot of falling. Our brains just become wired to recognize all of these motifs, and every time we hear it, we're like, oh yeah, we know it. Let's sing along. Anyway, let's carry on. I think there's probably a minute left or so. Oh, the video is fantastic. I love it. I think it would be criminal for me not to point out the hemiola that we hear just before the end. A hemiola is where you play several bars of 2 beats, 1, 2, 1, 2, as 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you're getting in some extra beats. You're changing from thinking in common time 1, 2s to 3s. It's just a good way of adding some rhythmic energy in there, as I often say. And to get it really just at the end, it's keeping us alert right till the very last moment. And then we have this final vocalization from the voice. And then the very interesting ending in the bed with the headphones on. Really cool song. There's a lot of tension in the song. I don't know, I think it's a really, really good depiction of the lyrics. The video, not so sure. The video seemed very happy almost, but maybe I'm completely misreading it. Maybe I was just enjoying it a bit too much. I went in with very low expectations for the video because it's widely considered to be the worst of the MTV era. But yeah, I think that is extremely harsh. I quite enjoyed it, but maybe I just enjoyed cheesy things. Let me know what your thoughts are on the video and the song. How does it compare to other Journey songs, especially the other 2 we've done on this channel? I'll leave them below, linked in the pinned comment. So if you've not seen those videos, please do go check them out. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, would really appreciate it if you left a like on the video to let me know you want to see more Journey. Comment down below which Journey songs you'd like to see. If you don't want to write any words, we'll do an emoji, and today's emoji will be the dancing emoji because of the impeccable dancing in this video. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next one.